tonight our training is going to be on grid squares and coordinates. If you're ready, go ahead and go to slide 2. All right, if you're not familiar with the grid square, here is a sample. This is a map showing the grid square where I live. DM43AM is the designation for the grid square, and the blue pin shows my actual location. Let's go on we'll come back to this in a minute, but let's go to slide 3. If you're using digital and you use Winlink, in the setup you have to enter your grid square, and every message that you send includes your grid square. The people you communicate with can know where you are located, and this is very handy. The military also uses grid squares in their communications, and there is a extended grid square which adds 2 more digits for more precise location. Let's go to slide 4. Definition: an instrument of the Maidenhead locator system, named after the town outside London where it was first conceived by a meeting of European VHF managers in 1980. A grid square measures 1 degree latitude by 2 degrees longitude, which means it's about 70 miles by 100 miles here in the continental U.S. A grid square is indicated by 2 letters, the field, and 2 numbers, the square. As I mentioned before, there's also a 6-digit grid square with more detail. Let's go to slide 5. Grid squares are a quick way to easily show your approximate location. One of my favorite websites for grid squares is listed here, levinecentral.com, and we're going to look at that website here in a second. Also, there's information at the ERL website. Let's go to slide 6. Here is a display showing what that first website looks like. You can see it is simple. They're a great, quick, easy way to show your location. Here's what you can enter in a street address, a call sign, or any 4 or 6-digit character grid square. Then it pops up with a map with the grid square highlighted in red, like the slide we just looked at. You can see it's very simple, easy to use. You enter in one of the 3 items and submit, and it pulls up your location. Notice down below it also lists your latitude and longitude. Let's go on to slide 7. Here's that same grid square for my house using the call sign search. Using the call sign search, it knows my exact location, not just the grid square. So it shows my exact location with the blue pin. Notice how quick and easy it is to find a location using a grid square. Now let's take a look at coordinates on slide 8. Coordinates are a geographic coordinate system. It is a spherical or geodetic coordinate system for measuring and communicating positions directly on Earth using latitude and longitude. Actually, that is the simplest, oldest, and most widely used type of the various spatial reference systems that are in use. Looking at the globe on the right, the Earth is divided into 360 degrees around the equator. These lines go straight north and south from pole to pole. 0 degrees is at Greenwich, England, which is where the Maidenhead locator system grid 0 is located. This is on the center of the globe. This is designated longitude. Positive longitude is to the east, and negative longitude is to the west. Now look at the left globe. You are facing the Earth as if you're at the equator. The equator is 0 degrees, and the angle goes up to 90 degrees north, which is the North Pole, and 90 degrees south, negative, which is the South Pole. This is designated latitude. North is positive latitude, south is negative. Let's go to slide 9. Grid squares are a quick and easy way to show an approximate area. Coordinates are much more precise. Coordinates are usually shown in 2 formats, decimal degrees and degrees minutes. They may also be listed as degrees, minutes, and seconds. As you can guess, 360 degrees equals a minute. 60 minutes or 60 seconds equals a minute. A GPS will show you coordinates for your location. Usually, though, it's truncated into 2 decimal places unless you know how to make a display farther. Coordinates listed above are accurate to within inches. Let's go to slide 10. If you use a lot of topographical maps, or topo maps as they call them, or GPS, you might be interested in taking time to learn how to read the latitude and longitude. Each horizontal and vertical line on a map is marked by coordinates. Using a finely calibrated ruler and some math, you can find the exact coordinates for any location. I used to use a very, very fine pointed pencil, a ruler in centimeters, and this is the way it was done before there were GPS units. If you became very good at it, you can spot a location accurate to within about 50 feet. And of course, maps are not really fine in detail, even the finer ones. Surveyors are accurate down to a fraction of an inch or even less, just super fine accuracy. And that's what they use for when they come out to survey your property. Let's go to slide 11. Here on these globes, I have indicated our approximate location for East Idaho, Idaho Falls, Rexburg, and so on. Note on the left globe, on the left side, it starts at 0 degrees in the center and goes up to 30, 45, 60, and 90 degrees. We live at the approximate 43 degrees north latitude, approximately where the arrow is. Now look at the right globe. Around the equator, starting at 0 degrees in the center, going left, which is minus, it goes 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. And of course, these are rough. We live at approximately 112 degrees negative latitude. Negative is to the west and positive is to the east. All right, let's go to slide 12. Hopefully this has given you a very brief introduction to what grid squares are, what coordinates are, and how they can be used, how they can be useful. Please check out the ARR website and the other websites for more information. Thank you for being here tonight. Let's go to slide 13, and we will now take any questions.
Golf 7, Juliet X-Ray Quebec.
Go ahead, X-Ray Quebec.
You made any effort, or have they made any effort to use the Universal Transverse Mercator, or UTM, grid marks? I have found them for on 7.5-minute topo maps to be more helpful rather than trying to divide by 60s on degrees and minutes, etc. Over.
Yes, there are people using that, but these are pretty much the standards. Of course, nowadays most everybody's using a GPS, and you can get your coordinates really accurate that way. And those are usually all listed in degrees and minutes. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Okay, any other questions? Yes, there are some ways, like he mentioned, that are simpler for people that don't want to dig into the fine points and getting into math and stuff. One more time for any questions before we turn it back to net control. Thank you for your time. We'll now turn it back to IHP. Go ahead, Steve.
KC7IH, V as in Victor. You're close. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate your training. This is something, when you start doing very much with amateur radio. These grid squares, they're everywhere. You use them, that's where you find people, so appreciate that.